watching for Richard. So I want to welcome all of you to the brand new multi-purpose room here at City College. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous room. We did a ribbon cutting on it with the trustees on Friday, and it houses the health center, the child development center, and has multiple rooms for use for everyone else. And it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous green building, and we're really happy to be in this building to make this wonderful special announcement. Many of you have, as the mayor texted me this morning, already heard what was embargoed for about a month and a half. So I have to say, to have the mayor, the superintendent, and the chancellor keep this under their hat for a month and a half has been a really hard task for those of us that work for them. But they have, and we're really, really excited to be here this morning to make this really special announcement. Partnerships has been one of the core values of our administration, and Mayor Newsom has really reached out in more places than I can mention to make sure that we're leveraging every possible resource that we have to make things right for our kids here in San Francisco. And the partnerships have continued from the mayor's office with the school district, and now with City College. We've done some other things with them, Gateway to College, and then with San Francisco State. So we're really proud to be up here today to leverage more resources to ensure that our kids get exactly what they deserve. But before I bring up Mayor Newsom, I want to just acknowledge a few folks that are here. The president of the Board of Trustees, Milton Marks, is here. Thank you, Milton. Alongside with Natalie Berg and Steve No. And I just want a little note on Steve No. He's been working side by side with us on this. Sylvia Yee's here from the Haas Jr. Foundation, as is Eric McDonald and Lauren Needle from United Way, our foundation partners, and Lisa Spinelli from the Ed Fund, Terry Burgessson from San Francisco School Alliance, and Pacolia Maggi from Coleman Advocates, who are strong partners with us on this as well. So thank you. Without further ado, I'm Hydra Mendoza. I'm Mayor Newsom's education advisor and the vice president for the Board of Education, so you get kind of a double dose when I show up. So, and a parent of 2 children in the school district, and one who's a high schooler, so I'm really excited about this announcement. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mayor Gavin Newsom.
Thanks, Hydra. Thank you all. Thank you, Hydra, for all your leadership and hard work to get us here. And thank you all for taking the time to be here in this truly spectacular building with the worst name of any building in the community college system. Don, we have got to come up with a better, call it an innovation center. I don't know, a center of dreamers and doers, anything but this multi-purpose, multi-dimensional, whatever. Anyway, that's just an editorial. Thank you to all the Gateway folks. Good work. Keep it going. Thank you very much for being here, even if you don't want to be here. We are grateful that you got coerced here, but you're doing good work, and you're really the seed to help us get to this next level. So you guys are the faces of the folks that are being helped, and we want to help, and you are what this is all about. We're in a period of declining resources. So what you do is you either just throw up your hands and you hold a press conference, pass a resolution urging the world to change, have a candlelight vigil, and then just say, back when I was a kid, things were better. You can do that, and we can all, you can run on that. Heck, you can win on that. I don't know what you're ever running for winning, but, you can do that. And then you just point fingers, abdicate responsibility, and blame other people. Or you can take the obligation to actually say, wait, I'm part of the solution, because by definition I'm part of the problem, because I'm here and I recognize wrongs and we need to right them. It was Aristotle said you can't live a good life in an unjust society. So you see these injustices and you see 1/10 of your low-income community not even graduating from college, and you go, my gosh, that's not so impressive. Well, what are you going to do about it? And it's the what you're going to do about it that's always short-changed and short-shrifted. And so what we've tried to do in San Francisco is answer that question. A number of years ago, everyone was saying mayors need to take over school districts and somehow that's going to solve problems. And, maybe it does in some cities, but in some cities I don't understand that, because I always ask the mayors that are trying to take over the school district, what then? What are you going to do when you take it over? And then that's when they don't really have an answer. It's as if just because I have control, somehow magically everything's going to change. It's not the case. You got to have the what then plan. What specific are you going to do? And of course, in San Francisco, we decided to take the tack that Taking over a school district was a solution in search of a problem. Because when we actually sat down and talked to one another about the what then plan, we realized we had more in common than we thought. We not have always agreed, but at the end of the day, we had the same fundamental values and we had the same ultimate goals. So we began to develop partnerships, and really the spirit of my comments and the spirit that brings us together is partnership. In this case, public-public partnerships. We always talk about public-private partnerships. We don't talk enough about public-public partnerships, capacity building, community-based organizations, foundations, individuals coming together with institutions like community college, the city and county of San Francisco, and our unified school district. It's about capacity building, leveraging resources, not just throwing up our hands, not just excusing the conditions as our burden, but as our opportunity to make better decisions. I always say it's not conditions that determine our faith and future, it's decisions. If you don't like the way things are, then do something about it. And if you don't like the answer to your questions, ask a better question. And so we have engaged in a partnership with our public schools called a Partnership for Achievement. We have universal preschool. Only county in California is universal preschool. We're not talking about it. We do it because if you want to get serious about the dropout rate and the truancy rate, and you want to get serious about the achievement gap, or as Carlos loves to say, the opportunity gap, you got to begin at the beginning. Got to prepare people K through 12. And then we said we need to supplement all those state cuts because everyone always gets so darn upset about all these state cuts, but what are you going to do about it? And that's when the city stepped up to the plate, and we're providing the resources for comprehensive arts education, every child, every classroom, K through 12. We said we want to help our students with their physical health. We open wellness centers, and we realized that's not good enough. We actually deal with adolescent mental health issues, so the wellness centers have evolved and grown with Maria Sue's work and Hydra's work and other members of our Department of Public Health in partnership with the public schools. We have the only After School for All program that I know of in the state of California. I don't know if you know this, the budget we just passed at the city allocates enough resources that at the end of the fiscal year will be 97% there on providing universal after school, not just universal preschool. Long-winded point to the event that brings us together. We recognize that we need to do more in terms of creating a college-going culture. A number of years ago, we started something called San Francisco Promise, which promised every sixth grader a 4-year college opportunity. We did it in partnership, in this case, public partnership with San Francisco State University System. We had Bob Corrigan there, his foundation that now is helping fund it. And we started to provide certificates of guaranteeing these sixth graders a 4-year college education. People thought we were full of it. They thought it was crazy, and you can't commit to that promise because you can't deliver it. And we said, prove us wrong, don't assume us wrong. And we had last year a subsequent graduation. This year we'll have our third graduation of sixth graders that are part of this program. And a lot of the folks that are delivering on that promise are in this room. But that was with San Francisco State University. We are proud of that. We're also proud of the fact that we wanted to step it up in terms of the support of that by building on the great work that the school district is doing. And remember, this is the top performing urban school district in the state of California. 9-10 years of improved test scores, double-digit declines for 2 years in a row for African American and Latino outcomes. Top performing urban school district in the state of California. And probably none of you knew this. Just amazing to me. Because we don't generate enough controversy. When you generate controversy, people tend to pay attention. So just blame the unions, and then everyone will say, my God, he's a reformer. Well, we're not just blaming people. Again, we're taking partnership. We're all in this together. We all have to reform. But I don't know if you know this, one of the top 10 cities of thousands of cities in the United States of America that have been identified as the reform city for education. It's not just New York. It's not just Denver. It's not just Washington, D.C. It's also San Francisco, one of the top 10 cities in the United States of America for school reform, but building partnerships, not scapegoating people, working together, working collaboratively. I'm really proud of that. I'm not proud that it hasn't gotten recognized. I'm proud of the work that's been done quietly. We seeded that this year with the first city in the United States. I stole this from Hillary Clinton, literally swiped it from her. She didn't know about it. She does now because we've been promoting it with the Clinton Foundation. She promoted this when she was early running for president a number of years ago, the idea of a college savings account for every kindergartner that enters the public school system in the United States. And I saw that in some speech, and I was so inspired by it that I said, well, it doesn't have to be a national program. It's manifested. all national programs manifested locally. Why can't we do this ourselves? It took 3 years. My good friends on the Board of Supervisors rejected it 2 years in a row. I think it's just because it was my idea. I should have made it their own. And this year, leadership of David Campos and others, we actually delivered the resources in partnership with Foundations, Haas, and others, where we're doing kindergarten accounts, 3-year phase-in. Every child now in our public schools is going to be given a trust fund, a college savings account at kindergarten. And remember, we live in a state where half of African American families and half of Latino families don't have access to a checking or a savings account. So you can imagine their children now have something they could have never imagined and dreamed of in their lives. And where do folks end up? Check cashing facilities and payday loans. You want to get serious about poverty, you better get serious about getting those things out of business by providing alternatives. So this is an alternative. And our treasurer, Jose Cisneros, is running it. He's as good as it gets. And we've got this great collaborative. But it wasn't good enough because we hadn't aligned our strategies with the great work at the community college. And I know this, you know this, there are 2.9 million folks at community college in this state. There's 109, 110 campuses, and you think the only two educational systems that matter are CSU and UC, because we tend to focus so much about UC and CSU. As critical and important as those institutions are, the backbone of our education system, the bulk of our education system is community college. And we need to reconcile that. So in closing, that's what we're celebrating here today. You'll hear more about the details in a moment. But we're just one of 4 cities that got recognized with this grant. It was a big competition because of all those things I mentioned that we are doing. Because of your work, because of your commitment, because of these partnerships that are being developed. Now money is flowing, and maybe that's the point more than any other that I want to make. Money is a limiting belief. When I opened my first business, I had no money, but I had an idea. And I remind every single one of you, especially the kids here, the young folks, and I don't mean that in terms of time of life, I mean that in state of mind, that it's not money that will determine your fate and future. It's your ideas. And if you've got a better idea, you're going to go places. And what we had was a better idea to develop a collaborative. And what happened? The money found us because we had a better idea. Why is San Francisco have universal health care? It's not because we had the money. We had a better idea. $70 million flew from the federal government that never, quote unquote, existed. You want to get serious about education reform? Come up with better ideas, because there's a ton of money out there. The banks have $1.8 trillion sitting in the accounts. Don't tell me there's not enough money to solve our problems. It's a quality of imagination and new ideas. Here's a good idea that's generated money and resources and support. Now our job is to implement it and deliver on this promise. And that will happen with your good work and your good judgment. And so in closing, let me thank you in advance for that work. Let me thank you in advance for your collaboratives and these partnerships that you will advance. Let me thank you for your wisdom of getting us here today, and remind you the future is not in front of us, it's inside of us. We will determine that fate and that future of this program, and whether or not more money will flow, because we've aligned our collective strategies in a new and profound way. So to the Chancellor, thank you for all your leadership. To Carlos Garcia and his team in absentia, Carlos was sick today. Thank him for his great work. Hydra, as good as it gets, the best of the best. School board and members, the 3 members of the Community College Board that are leaders, that are here, that are supporting these efforts. I congratulate you, and you're to be honored here today as well. Thank you all very much.
He was apologizing because I think some of the things that we do in the city just, it starts here and then it keeps going and going and going. And I think over the last 5 years we've been really intentional about the way that we've been arching our work. And so it's starting in pre-K and ending in college, and it's not just kinder to 12th grade anymore, and it's a pre-K through 16 model. And I just really want to thank the mayor for his leadership in all of this, because it's these kinds of grants that we're unable to get if the city doesn't participate. And you need a leader in the city in order to make that happen. And so Mayor Newsom's made that really easy for us to do because he gets it. I want to acknowledge a couple of our other partners that are here. So Brian Gasden and Julian Euler from College Track, who are fantastic partners with us, as is Paul Collins with College Summit. So I know, Paul, you're somewhere, there you are. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon. As the mayor said, Carlos has been sick the last couple of days, and I was with him on Sunday because we were doing our board retreat to make sure that our priorities are straight, and career to college is definitely one of our top priorities, and I'm really glad that Pacolia is here because she's been really helping us to stay on track. But because he isn't here, we have a wonderful replacement for him, and Richard Carranza. He is our Deputy Superintendent of Schools, and I wanted to have him join us about what San Francisco Unified School District is going to be doing in partnership with everyone else. Thank you, Richard.
Good morning. Talk about an exciting event to be present at, and I want to thank all of our partners in advance. Mr. Mayor, you are so inspirational. Thank you for being such a good partner with us, and Chancellor, thank you as well. This is really the culmination of years of work. This didn't just happen. There have been lots of individuals all throughout all of the systems that have been working for months and months and months around what is it that we're going to do for post-secondary success for our students. And I'll tell you, when you talk about school reform, most people think about the latter part. They think about when students leave the system. And what we've done is say, that's not when you start thinking about college-going culture. You start in pre-K. So when we talk about a pre-K 16 continuum, that's critically important because college-going cultures and the mentality and the structures and systems to support that happen right from pre-K on. So what we're doing is looking at where students come into the pipeline and where students leave the pipeline. And it's not just good enough to say that students are going to graduate at record numbers. It's not good enough, because what the conversation has to be is when those students leave our system, are they prepared to be successful in the post-secondary system? Do they go on to college if they choose to go on to college? But more importantly, do they stay, and are they successful? And do they need remediation when they get there? That's also part of our task in the pre-K-12 environment. 16. So around this work, we are extremely, extremely happy and proud of the fact that we are partnering to this degree with our partners to ensure that post-secondary success. You know, the school district has continuously shown increasing success at narrowing the achievement gap and increasing the levels of achievement for all of our students. But we also recognize that we have to do it better. And we cannot do it alone. We have to do it in partnership with our partners. Our board has adopted an A through G policy. So this year, as the parent of a high school freshman, I can tell you, my daughter this year will take an A through G curriculum through her 4 years of high school, so that when she gets ready to graduate from high school, she decides if she goes to college or not. The system doesn't decide for her. That's what we've done in the school district to ensure that students have that opportunity. We've expanded and developed all of our enrollment in our AP and honors classes so that it's open enrollment, so that you don't have to have precursor classes in order to go into those classes. Just the want to go into those classes is enough and is good enough to get into those classes. We plan ahead in terms of our college-going culture, so every freshman this year is taking a plan-ahead curriculum in which they're developing their college-going plans. Every one of our sophomores takes the PSAT, which you all know are early indicators of those students that are going to go into college and are, if they're prepared to go to college. These are all things that we've done to systematize, as part of our system, the opportunities for students to be successful in a postgraduate environment. And I really appreciate what the mayor said about looking at what is post-secondary success and where do we go. The facts are that most of our students will enter into a post-secondary experience at City College. So they are our partners. And it's no mistake that over these months that have turned into years of conversations with our partners at City College, we've started talking about what does that curriculum look like and what does that alignment look like. So what are you looking for in an English student that comes into City College? And our high school English teachers are talking about how does that align so that there is this very interconnected articulation from 12th grade to 13th grade, if you will. Those are conversations that don't come by and large naturally. You have to be very specific about those conversations, very strategic, and plan for those conversations to take place on a continuing basis. This grant will allow us to systematize those types of conversations and those planning conversations and make it so that one day when Carlos isn't superintendent and we have a new board and I'm not here and the mayor, we have a new mayor, and no one has to recreate that. It's part of the system. It's part of what we do. It's the way we do business. So we are very thrilled and honored to be part of this partnership. We take that very seriously, but it's only the beginning of the conversation for the greater community. So we welcome your input and your support as well as we forge down this path, which now we have some resources to help us get there. So thank you very much for being here this morning. On behalf of the superintendent and the Board of Education, I want to thank you all for your support, and we look forward to more conversations with you and your support. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Richard. I want to acknowledge one of my colleagues who is joining us, Kim Shree-Moffis, who's a member of the Board of Education at San Francisco Unified. Thank you, Kim Shree, for joining us. So I don't know if you actually quite got a grasp of what it is that we've received, because everybody's talking about the work that they're doing, which is really incredible. So Gates has given 4 cities $12 million. So we will be receiving $3 million, $1 million every year for the next 3 years to institutionalize the alignment between San Francisco Unified and City College. And so it's been really heartwarming to have the trustees and the school board validate this, because these are really important dollars in these very challenging times. And one of the things, the mayor was on a conference call this morning, and one of the things that I think is really equally as important is the idea that Gates is investing in San Francisco, and that they left us a few years ago and now they're back, and this partnership really means a lot to us and to them. And so we're really grateful that the Gates Foundation has found us once again, and so we're looking at $3 million over the next 3 years. Little minor details. The partnership with City College has been tremendous. Don Griffin has taken leadership in ways that have just been extremely outstanding. He has shown up to every single conference and meeting and telephone requests that we've asked, because this is extremely valuable and important to him as well. And so please join me in welcoming, actually he's welcoming us here. So Chancellor Don Griffin.
Ultimately, it's about jobs. And what we do best at City College is prepare students for work. As a matter of fact, if you go to the various companies in the Bay Area, you'll find many of our graduates are there. Now, one of the things that we're very concerned about, however, is that if the students do not get to City College, and if we do not retain those students once they get here, they cannot be prepared for the workforce. And so what we're doing in terms of this alignment that's really exciting for us is that we're working with the major people. At Unified, we're working with the city and county, and we're going to actually use data, not just simply stories about how things work or do not work, but actually look at all the data in terms of our courses, our counseling services, our financial aid, etc., and see how it is that we can come within just a period of less than 10 years to double the number of individuals who are actually coming to the community college and graduating with degrees. That is going to change actually not just simply San Francisco, but if we can get this to work across the country, it's going to actually change the lives of many people whose lives are pretty desperate right now. And a lot of those individuals, unfortunately, are African American, Latino, Asian Americans, etc. These individuals feel that the school systems have failed them in America, and to some extent, there has been a failure. But we intend together to address that and to make sure, starting here in San Francisco, that we can give a very, very positive example to the rest of the country about what we can do when we work together. This partnership is so valuable because the parties have already started to work together. We have more than 35 programs already aligned with San Francisco Unified School District. We're doing dozens of programs already in terms of the city and county. But the problem is that we're not communicating and not using data sufficiently and getting the word out to all of the people in the city of San Francisco. Everybody has to be aware that these three great institutions are working in sync together to deal with a problem. We have a common vision, we have a common focus, and among us, we're going to solve this problem in terms of high school dropouts, people continuing through post-secondary, earning their degrees and certificates, and getting into the job market and having decent jobs that they can work and improve their lives with. That's what this partnership is really about. It's about work, it's about jobs, it's about dignity, it's about people being able to participate in the American dream. And all of the students in this program that you see here now, if we do our jobs well, these students will be participating in that American dream in less than 3 or 4 years. They will have decent jobs, they will be able to take care of their families and their communities. That's what we're really interested in. We're very, very grateful to Gates for this because this is the beginning. Yes, we're going to get the Gates Foundation helping us, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue to get other foundations to help us because this is America's problem right now. Right now, America's problem is how are you going to take care of the young people who are dropping out and not fully being able to utilize the educational system and get jobs. It is about jobs. City College is about jobs. We will get jobs for these people. Is Milton around? President Marks, could you come up for a moment, please? We'd love to hear from our president of our board a bit about this, and because he's been working extremely hard to develop an accountable system at City College of San Francisco, accountable on every level.
Thanks. Thanks, Chancellor. I want to thank the mayor and the chancellor and the superintendent and my colleagues on our board and our peers on the school board for joining together in a partnership. We're in an unusual situation in the state where we have 3 different entities, 3 different independent public entities, all representing exactly the same people. We all represent the citizens of the city and county. So it is completely logical for us to be working together this way. And I wanted to thank the Gates Foundation for recognizing the strength of this partnership and where it can go. I have a different style from a lot of people. One of the things that I maintain is that you can learn a lot from failure. And I think that we need to recognize that there are problems here and in the school district. When I was living in Philadelphia, there was a slogan as you came into a billboard as you came in from the airport, and it said, "Philadelphia, it's not as bad as you think it is." But the problem is that for too many students at City College and for too many students at the Unified School District, it is as bad as you think it is. There are too many people who are failing. There are too many people who are dropping out. There are too many people who get to City College and get just discouraged and leave before they complete their time here. And that's why it's important to look not just at the achievement gap, but also at the graduation gap. Things are changing at City College. We're beginning, I think, to talk about the fact that there is an achievement gap. It took a long time for City College to be willing to talk about it. My colleagues Steve Noe and Chris Jackson really forced the issue by holding a series of equity hearings last year, and they're continuing to do that work. It's not bad to talk about bad things. It's important to talk about bad things. It's important to say these are people that City College is serving and that the Unified School is serving. We can't talk just about where we're going to get. We have to talk about where we are now. We have to put faces to the problem. We have to put their struggles into something that's far more personal than I think it is in many cases. I'd like to see students be part of not only the receiving the good work that is going to be going on here, but I'd also like to see them part of the process of getting from where we are now and where we're going to be in the future. They're the ones who are going to be served. They're the ones whose lives are going to be changed. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the funding. Thank you for the leadership that everybody is providing. And let's go from here to even more partnerships in the future between the City College, and the Unified School District. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Milton. So this will have direct effect on our students, and so we wanted to invite up the student trustee for the City College, Jeffrey Fang.
Morning. Let me start by apologizing to our esteemed guests and mayor first, because this is how I will address the entire room today. Good morning, community. How are y'all doing? That's good to hear. This is indeed a great moment. I have to hold myself together not to say, wow, and oh, there I said it. This $3 million over the next few years to streamline the structure, to set up a structure where we can build success. Today is not about failure. It's about future success that is coming to us. And I'm very honored to be asked to speaking at this moment and this time. But the story is not about me. It's about everyone who worked together. We're a team. We're in this together over the past few years. Everyone has quietly worked away. Everyone tried to find a solution. When we see an issue, this is the exemplary work. We find solution. We don't dwell on the failure, the misery, or the sadness of it. We focus on what can be done and the possibility of a future outcome that is positive. Now, just think of this. Building a common structure, community, and through close collaboration that we can have a greater future together. This is something that when I was a student who barely got through high school, and I am myself a re-entry college student who came back to school in 2008, I couldn't imagine this. I tried to figure things out on my own. But now, the solution is here. The support is coming. Everyone is in this to work together. And I can't begin to imagine how wonderful it will be in a few years. And I can't wait to hear the results that will be forthcoming. Alas, though, I am a student trustee, so representing the largest community college in the United States, 110,000 students. This is not about me. Again, it's about the community. And actually later you will hear a speaker who's been working very closely in the collaborative process in the program, Hines. And I will leave them even more great story from him later. But thank you all for being here, and I'm looking forward to the future together.
So when this grant came about, we had to have a lead agency, and fortunately in the mayor's office we have the Interagency Council, which brings together all of our departments so that we too are collaborating within our own city. Kimberly Wyckoff has been an incredible force on the Interagency Council and has been the lead on this CLIP grant, on this Communities Learning and Partnership Bridge to Success grant. And so I'm going to invite her up to just give us a quick, brief overview of the program, and then the Q&A piece of it, there'll be some folks that are up here that you can come and ask them some questions so that we can, and then we'll just tie up the formal remarks, okay? So Kimberly Wyckoff, and she has an incredible team that she's going to acknowledge while she's up here, because we would not have been able to do this work without the support of so many of the faculty and staff, both at City College and at the school district, who have given a lot of their time to make sure that this alignment happens. Kimberly?
Well, you've heard a lot about partnership today, but what this partnership is really about is about the students. So the first thing we did when we found out we were going to get this grant is we went out to the students and we said, what should we call this? Because we were calling it Communities Learning in Partnership and CLIP, and what does that mean actually to our students? So unfortunately, the student who won our logo and naming contest is not here because she's on a wilderness education adventure trip. But she's an 11th grade student from Balboa High School, Dylan Kai. And there's a logo in the press packets. We weren't able to get the projection work. And we're launching the, there we go, low-tech version works just as well, the Bridge to Success. So today is all about us building a bridge to success that starts in pre-K with our earliest, youngest students, but gets them all the way through to a post-secondary credential that really matters. So we've talked a lot about partnership. I think the other thing that I want to highlight today, though, is that it's not just about partnership, it's about the data. To build this partnership, we went to the data. We tried to understand what was happening, where our students were, where we were losing our students, and what we needed to do differently. So when you look at the Bridge to Success campaign, the two things that we've come together to commit to are first, that we will graduate our students college ready from the high school system. And college ready, we took a huge step on that when we instituted the A to G graduation requirements. But what we are adding to that today is the EAP, the Early Assessment Program. That is the test that students take in 11th grade that let us know that they are ready for college level work. And we are committed as a joint partnership here to increase the number of students who are passing the EAP so that when they get to college, they're ready to hit the ground running. And that is critical, because the other piece of data that we went to is that when they get to college, we need to be graduating them career ready. And to do that, they need to be going full-time, and they need to finish on time. One way to finish on time is to start in college-level work and not have to have remediation. But another piece of that, as the mayor mentioned, is to be able to go full-time. What are the financial supports we can give to our students so that they can concentrate on being students and enter the career path that they choose by the age of 26? The number one predictor of finishing City College is to go full-time. And the number one predictor of becoming a financially independent adult for the rest of your life and breaking cycles of poverty for the entire family for the rest of that family's time frame is completing a degree by age 26. So we're thrilled to be launching the Bridge to Success campaign. We're thrilled to have so many people here, and I do want to acknowledge the partners that made this possible for us. We had tremendous leadership from City College, from starting with Chancellor Griffin, but also Dr. Rose Robertson, Phyllis McGuire, Beth Cataldo, and those were our core lead. And then we had most of the department chairs from City College participating on our steering committee. From the school district side, we had Dr. Carranza was leading the charge there, but we also were joined by Janet Schultz, who's here, Kevin Truitt, and Maureen Carew, who was the co-lead with me. And I think we'll do the Q&A offline, and most of those folks are here and will be available to answer your questions. Actually, if Maureen Carew could stand up as the co-lead from the school district in the back, and Dr. Robertson is my co-lead from City College. So the three of us will be available for Q&A. But to wrap up, what we actually wanted to do is, you've heard of a couple of mentions of the Gateway to College students. We actually have Nick Mathern here from Gateway to College National Office, which we're thrilled to have. But Gateway to College was one of the very first steps on this partnership. 2 years ago, we came together and we said, you know, we need to address the issue of dropouts. And we need an alternative for what can happen when the traditional pathway hasn't worked for some of our students. So we came together with City College and we said, we need a program that's going to enroll the students here on the City College campus and allow them to get the high school diploma and their AA at the same time. That is the kind of partnership we're talking about, a creative way to think differently about how can we serve our students better. So we have a young man here, Andre Hines, who is going to be one of the first students to earn his high school diploma through this program, and he's just going to say a couple quick words and then invite you to join us for lunch.
Hello, everybody. My name is Andre Hines. I'm currently a Gateway to College student, and basically Gateway to College provided me with a stable school to stay at. I was always bouncing around through different high schools, but my principal referred me here, and I've been here ever since. I'm going to graduate in January, and I want to stay here to get my AA. Then I want to transfer out to University of Louisville to get my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I want to become a sports psychologist one day. So basically, I'm here to invite you guys to join us for pizza in the back so you can eat with the rest of the Gateway students and get to know us a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you all again for joining us. As we mentioned, there's pizza in the back. And I know that the chancellor and the mayor and deputy superintendent are going to go back and just join them for a little bit and say hello. So thank you all for joining us this afternoon. This is a great day for San Francisco Unified, for City College, and for the city of San Francisco. And we're really grateful to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for investing in us and investing in our young people. Thank you.